This is the Zora's River, and it begins all the way up here, up in these hills beyond these cliffs, in Zora's domain, the source of all Hyrule's water. We can actually follow the Zora's River all the way through Hyrule. It kind of winds through different areas in Hyrule Field. It becomes the Castletown Moat, and then it flows through Gerudo Valley, through the ravine, before it empties out in Lake Hylia, where all of the water in Hyrule ends up. Which I've always thought is a really cool, neat detail, that you can actually follow the water through Hyrule in this game. Zora's River, watch out for the swift current and strong undertow. But yeah, as I said, we're heading up to Zora's domain, to the source of Hyrule's water, because that's where we'll find the game's third spiritual stone. But here's Kaepora Gaebora. Hoo-hoo! Looks like you've gotten bigger and stronger already, Link. Just ahead lies Zora's domain. The Zoras serve Hyrule's royal family by protecting this water source. Their door will not open for anyone except those who have some connection with the royal family. Let them hear the melody of the royal family. Hoo-hoo-hoot. Thank you. So a little hint there on how we'll gain access to Zora's domain and to the source of Hyrule's water by proving our connection to the Hyrule royal family. But first, got a gold sculpture to grab here. 27th, which is pretty cool. And we've got to bomb our way through here. So again, this is another area that we could have accessed far earlier in the game, but unless we have a way to prove our connection to the royal family and bombs, we wouldn't actually be able to make much progress. And here's a cuckoo. There's a ring of stones and some butterflies. I can't remember if this is one of the grottos you have to bomb, or if there's one you have to play a song. I assume it's one that we have to play a song. Ooh! We've got our first magic jar, filling up our magic meter, which is very nice. And a slightly conspicuous cuckoo there, who we'll be coming back to in a second. But first, we have an incredibly important character. The bean guy, bean seller. So we've been exploring these throughout the game, these patches of soft soil. And finally we're going to unlock the second, second option, the second way to interact with these, which is by talking to this guy. Chomp, chomp, chomp. How about some magic beans? They aren't selling very well. How about 10 rupees for one piece? Sure. You got a magic bean. Find a suitable spot for a garden and plant it with C. Then wait for something fun to happen. If you want to plant beans, go around and look for soft soil. Chomp, chomp, chomp. So yeah, we can, if I can select it, we can plant magic beans in soft soil patches, which creates this tiny little plant. There's a couple of ways to interact with that. We need a certain song to interact with it as Child Link. I'm just going to keep buying beans because they're useful. But as Adult Link, they grow into magic bean plants, allowing us to reach otherwise inaccessible areas. So I'm just going to keep buying these until I run out of rupees, because there are tons of spots where we want to be planting these. But again, I'm not sure exactly how many rupees I've got. But as you can see, I probably should be reading this actually, because it's quite funny. I'll read the next one. But the first line of dialogue was, they're not selling very well. And then we're buying them, and every time he's increasing the price. We have the popular magic beans now. We'll regret if you don't buy them. 50 rupees. Can we still afford that? Nice. So what's next? What price is after this? Okay, thank you very much. These are the super popular magic beans. In case you're wondering, they'll be sold out. Can we afford that? Okay, we can't. We're out of rupees now, but that's good. We've got a good stock for now. Maybe we'll... Nah, let's not do it yet. But we'll obviously want to replenish our rupee supply soon and keep buying those because, yeah, like I said, magic bean plants can land us in a lot of interesting places. Some aren't particularly useful. In episode 1, I showed off that little alcove in Kakiri Forest that doesn't do anything really. There's a couple of rupees there, but considering you have to use magic beans to get there, it's kind of not really worth doing. But then there are others where they are super important because there's pieces of heart or skulltulas that are only accessible with the bean plants. But still, we have a cuckoo, meaning we can grab this piece of heart if we do that. We can hop over and grab a piece of heart. Always good. We've got a heart piece, which is our 14th. Very nice. And the cuckoo's still chilling. He's all good. Because we want to pick him up and continue up the river. So yeah, this is the area of the game that is called Zora's River, which is, I was about to say super peaceful, but we've got Octorok combat music playing, so not as chill as it could be. This is the area that's actually called... No. Okay, it's only deep water that makes them despawn. This is the only area that's actually called Zora's River, but Zora's River is just the name for this... Don't go down the waterfall. This body of water in general, which I'm floating down. Which, like I said, yeah, flows throughout all of Hyrule, which is very cool. And I can't hear my cuckoo anymore. Maybe... Has he gone down the river? I think he might have done. Sorry, old boy. Yeah, cuckoos can't swim very well, but we do actually really want him for this. So I'm going to go all the way down and grab another one, because up at the top, there's another piece of heart that we want the cuckoo for. So yeah, he helps us out quite a lot. Also, worth noting, there's a frog there. We can't do anything with him yet. We need a couple of extra Ocarina songs before we can interact with those. But just like in Majora's Mask, there's a frog choir. So, for whatever reason, during the N64 era, Nintendo were very keen on having musical frogs. I've just missed that. It's fine. Going down Zora's River, we can grab some extra rupees, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, for some reason there was a musical frog thing that they had going on during the development of these games, but I'm not complaining. You know, pretty iconic. Has the cuckoo respawned? He has. Here he is. Come here. But yeah, we want to head all the way up the river and grab those pieces of heart. There's not a huge journey up here to Zora's Domain, which is at the very top. We have to head through a waterfall to get to where the Zoras live. But it works the same way in... can I make that? Ooh, I'm going to go the long way just to guarantee it. It works the same way in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And I'm pretty sure Twilight Princess as well. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but it would make sense if it is the same in Twilight Princess. That Zora's Domain is the source of all Hyrule's water. And Tears of the Kingdom expanded on that. Some of the lore in that game I actually really like, by adding the Water Temple and the ancient Zora Waterworks, which kind of just add some depth to the mechanics of Zora's Domain, with the Water Temple being the source of the water, and then the Zora Waterworks kind of implied to be a purification or a filtration system. Then it passes down into Zora's Domain and then flows throughout all of Hyrule, which is really cool. But yeah, let's head up here to this, which is called the Sleepless Waterfall. And this is the entrance to Zora's Domain. But just before we do that, we've got to use our cuckoo that we brought all the way here to grab our next heart piece, our 15th. So, almost there. What's Navi got to say? I wonder if Saria knows anything about the other spiritual stone. Yeah, maybe we'll talk to Saria. Maybe we could do that now, actually, to be fair. So, there you go. That's Lost Woods. So yeah, if we play Saria's song, not only does it make Gorons dance, but it also lets us magically talk to Saria, which is cool. Link, this is Saria. Can you hear me? Are you collecting spiritual stones? You have one more to find? You mean the spiritual stone of water, don't you? The great Deku Tree once told me that King Zora, ruler of Zora's Domain, has it. Do you want to talk to Saria again? Do you say anything different? No. But that's cool, yeah, that the Great Deku Tree was aware of King Zora and of the spiritual stone. Obviously, he was aware of the Kokiri's Emerald. He's also aware of where the other two are held, which is very cool. But quickly before we do that, we need to play another Ocarina song. Since it just turned to day, we need to turn it back to night, because there's one more gold Skulltula here that we can grab, which spawns again. Oh, that's not every time. I just missed it spawning, but yeah, actually that's Fairy Slingshot, that one. Oh, I've got that on. But I always like seeing them spawn. It's kind of like, feels like, I don't know, it's like, it would have been very easy just to have them pop in, because it's kind of rare that you see them actually spawn, but they don't. They have a little animation where they kind of start very small and then grow quickly. But yeah, a couple things here. There's this, a mysterious underwater door. That actually leads to the Lost Woods that I pointed out in episode 4. Though we can't access that yet because we can't dive deep enough. Anyway, there's an inscription here we can read. Sleepless Waterfall. The flow of this waterfall serves the King of Hyrule. When the king slumbers, so too do these falls. So that's something that confused me for a while. It seems kind of overly... I don't know, it's like a poem, but it's a little bit mysterious. Where it says, when the king slumbers, so too do these falls. Which, you know, it's strange. Does that mean if the king dies, the waterfall stops or whatever? But I think I was overthinking it. And I think it's just a hint as to what we should do here. Like Kaepora Gabora said, we need to prove our connection to the royal family. And how we've been doing that so far in the game is by playing Zelda's Lullaby. So if we whip out our Ocarina, bang out some Zelda's Lullaby, which then, if you bear that in mind, it makes that strange poem make sense, because Zelda's Lullaby not only was a lullaby for Zelda, we know that it's been passed down through the royal family. So it just makes sense that this was a song that made the king slumber as well. And when the king slumbers, when we play Zelda's Lullaby, so too do these falls. They open up, allowing us to step forward into Zora's domain. Here we are in the cave of the Zoras. What does this sign say? Well, okay, I could have told you that. Zora's domain. So yeah, while in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and games like that, it's actually no, yeah, Breath of the Wild and I was going to say Twilight Princess, but in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Zora's domain is this huge structure built in the middle of a lake, kind of that giant sculpture of a fish's head. It's beautiful. This is beautiful in a different way. Zora's domain here is mostly inside, in these caves. Although it's not all inside, we'll see there are outside areas. But still, absolutely beautiful, where there's the kind of reflections of the water on the walls. And this is the first appearance of the Zora's Domain theme song, which is just so perfect that it's been used ever since in different games in the series. So let's go talk to some of the Zora, see what they've got to say. Oh, I just missed there. Oh, there's one in the water here as well. What does the one in the water say? Just need to get closer. Oh. You going to talk to me? Yeah. Who are you? We are the Zoras, the proud aquatic people. So, you say you have some connection with Hyrule's royal family. Well, what do you want from us? Okay. And what does this Zora say? We are good at diving. How about you? If you want to be a master diver, try the diving game at the top of the waterfall. Have you tried it already? We haven't yet, but we will. There's the diving game here. Little thing I want to point out here, again I pointed this out in one of my recent videos, at the very bottom of this area of Zora's domain, down here, there's an underwater tunnel. So you see down here, there's the floor goes very deep, and there's kind of a door over there on the right, that dark area there. Even when we gain the ability to swim deeper later in the game, we still can't reach it. So it's something that they had an idea for during development that then was dropped, but still really cool to see. We haven't found Princess Ruto, even though some of us have searched as far as Lake Hylia. So we're learning a little bit more about the Zora, that Princess Ruto is missing. Have you seen Lord Jabu Jabu? No. Oh, that's not good. Everybody who comes around here should see Lord Jabu Jabu at least once. Zora's fountain is just beyond King Zora's throne. That is where Lord Jabu Jabu swims. But unless you have King Zora's permission, you can't go to Zora's fountain. You see where there's bubbles here underwater? That's where the Zoras pop up. So I believe this was the one that talked about Princess Ruto. Some more bubbles over here for Zora. We'll just talk to everyone, get as much lore of the Zoras as we can. We Zoras all serve the great King Zora. Okay. So far we've learned that there's the Zoras. They seem to have a connection with the royal family. They have a King Zora. They have a Princess Ruto who's missing. And there's someone called Lord Jabu Jabu, who all visitors to the domain are encouraged to visit at least once. There's a Zora here. What have you got to say? Zora's fountain is the source of the river. Lord Jabu Jabu lives in the fountain. Lord Jabu Jabu is the patron deity of the Zoras. Princess Ruto is in charge of preparing his meals, morning and night. So, a little bit more lore. Just as the Great Deku Tree is the patron deity of the Kokiri and of the forest, Lord Jabu Jabu is the patron deity of the Zoras and of the river and Hyrule's waters. Zora Shop. we have fresh fish. Well, with a advert like that, we've got to go in. And there's 2 Zora in here we can talk to. There's one here. I want to buy a fish, but they're a little too expensive. Why do you want to buy a fish? You live in the river. I have no choice but to catch one of the fishes that's swimming out there. Okay. Welcome. If you want to buy fish, you need a container to put them in. Well, thank you. It wasn't much of a conversation. But yeah, they sell, just like the Goron shop sold a red tunic, this sells a Zora tunic. A tunic made by the Zoras, adult size, prevents you from drowning underwater. Sounds useful. Deku nuts, a fish for 200 rupees, just caught and so fresh, you can keep it in a bottle. Red potion, not much else. Okay, so yeah, not a huge amount going on in here. Some pots, maybe we can grab some rupees. Oh, a Deku stick, that's nice. Deku nuts, but yeah, that probably does everything in here for now. So let's head up here to the throne room and see who waits up here. So all the way up these long stairs, and he just spawned into existence here. What does the sign say? King Zora's throne room. To hear the king's royal proclamations, stand on the platform and speak to him. Oh, my dear, sweet Princess Ruto. Where has she gone? I'm so worried. And that's it. He won't talk to us because Princess Ruto is missing. But while we're up here, let's do a couple of things first. Let's whack on our Deku sticks, because you'll notice that we walked past a few unlit torches down there in the domain, and up here there is some fire. So in classic Zelda fashion, we'll play like we're at the Olympics and carry the torch. We got a nice puzzle completed sound for that, although the puzzle hasn't yet been completed. There's torches in particular that we need to light, but nice. But because we can light these ones away, we can guarantee that we don't lose a Deku stick. Not that it's the end of the world if we do, but just by constantly putting it away and relighting it, we just make sure that it doesn't burn out. And here, there's 2 more. Very nice. I can't remember if that section is timed. I think it might be. I don't think the one at the bottom of King Zora's stairs are, but I think these smaller torches perhaps could be timed to spawn this chest. Yeah, again, I'm not too sure on that, but yeah, either way, it doesn't really matter because it's very lenient if it is. But we can now access this chest, which is a pretty useful item. It's another piece of heart. Our 16th, which is a new heart container. So we're really making progress now on these. Very, very nice. Little inconspicuous ring of stones. And here are the fishes that the Zora was talking about having to catch. But yeah, we need to empty something out of our bottles. So we've got bugs. Although I didn't show off, I should have done the bugs down by the soft soil. Sorry, down by the bean cellar man. It's the only soft soil spot. I say that 10 times fast in the game. That doesn't have a gold sculpture in it. So there was no point in me putting bugs in that. It wouldn't have done anything. But I will actually, because I can't think of anything. Okay, let's get rid of the fairy. We don't need a fairy. We shouldn't die. And bugs are just nice to have on, because otherwise there's only a few spots in the game you can get them. There's like various stones you can move or whatever. Every time. Did I put that on? I did put that on C right. Did I? Okay, maybe to put that on. Let's put it on C left. Okay, I think it might have already been on C left. Either way, we can do that. And go fishing. There you go. See, I was complaining about fishing in episode 4. That's the kind of fishing I like. Walk up, press a button, immediately catch a fish. But let's go back up. We've already took the flames down with us. But let's go back up, because we want to take part in that diving game that the other Zoras were on about, which will grant us an item which makes things very, very, very useful around here where there's a lot of water. It's a useful item to have. Yeah, also didn't really point out much about the throne room, but it's very cool. You get King Zora here sat on this waterfall. Gossip stone by him. Again, we can't really do much. There's like a pendant up there, or maybe slightly larger than a pendant, a giant disc bearing the mark of the Zora, crest of the Zora there, which is cool. Which is actually the very same as the crest of the goddess Nehru, which is cool. So let's speak to this Zora. Diving game, 20 rupees. Want to play? Okay. Pick up all the rupees I throw from here. You have only a limited amount of time. When you pick them all up, come back here. I'll give you something very nice. And they rain down to the bottom. Start. So here we go. This is the diving game. So you can already grab one immediately, and then you can kind of line up so you can often get more than one with a dive, but it's not very hard. It's quite lenient with the timing. We've got 40 seconds left to go on this, which is alright. And we get some nice rupees. There you go, I got 2 and 1 with that one, which is always nice to have. We always like our rupees. Hey, congratulations! I've got something very nice for you. Come and get it. Sure thing. Swim up here. So yeah, we can swim underwater a little bit, but you see this door here, underwater here. Link can swim underwater at the moment, but it's too deep for him. He can't get all the way down there. But maybe with this item that we're getting from completing the diving game, we will be able to do that, which would be very nice, very useful. Let's head all the way back up. I think this is not... Even though I'm very nostalgic for this area, I think I do prefer the Zora's Domain in Breath of the Wild to this. I think that's just absolutely gorgeous. Still the same beautiful music, but just the design of it itself, it just stands out really, really well. What a graceful dive. Now please take this. This is a scale of our kind. With this, you can dive much deeper under the water. And we get the silver scale, which lets us dive much deeper than before. So now we can access that mysterious door. It's interesting that Zora scales is what allow Link to dive here. We've seen that a few times throughout the series, that Zora scales, or scales in general, grant Link these kind of abilities. So in Skyward Sword, you have the Water Dragon scale from the dragon Pharaon. And then Breath of the Wild, the Zora's tunic is said to be made with the scales of... I've messed that up. With the scales of Princess... what's her name in that? Mipha. And then in Twilight Princess, I believe it's the same. I think the Zora tunic is also made with Zora scales in that. So it's quite cool that it's consistent, that those are what provide magical abilities to the bearer. There's a Zora here, let's talk to him. I am a Zora. Have you seen anything strange in the lake? The river carries many things into this lake. And we did. We saw this last time we were here. At the very bottom, there's a message in a bottle. You can swim all the way down and grab that. You got an empty bottle. Put something inside and press C to use it. What? Something's already inside? I don't know. Do we have to be on shore to read this? I think we do, yeah. Let's stand on solid ground. Can we stand here? I think we can. Oh, just can't. Okay, we can do it here. What's in the bottle? Huh? It looks like there's something already inside this bottle. It's a letter. Help me. I'm waiting for you inside Lord Jabu Jabu's belly. Ruto. P.S. Don't tell my father. So it has a note from the missing Princess Ruto. A pleading for Link to help her because she's trapped inside Lord Jabu Jabu's belly. There is kind of a long-standing fan theory about that Ruto herself didn't write that letter. Because, as we'll see later on in the game, Ganondorf has... It's a bit of a Dune situation. He has plans within plans in this game, and he's kind of baiting Link along his journey. And there's a long-standing fan theory that it wasn't Ruto that wrote that letter. It was actually Ganondorf baiting Link to enter Lord Jabu Jabu and get the spiritual stone. But if you see if you read the Japanese version of that, it makes it very clear that it is written by Princess Ruto. I've got an older video on the channel kind of disproving some Zelda theories where I talk about that. But anyway, now we've got Princess Ruto's letter. We can show it to King Zora. Huh? Okay, right. Maybe I have to talk to him first. Do I have to speak to you? Oh, okay. Or maybe I just wasn't standing in the right spot. Okay, let's try and line this up properly. So now I can speak to you. Oh, my dear Princess Ruto, where has she gone? I'm so worried. Now... Okay, there you go. I just wasn't lined up right. Ho! This letter! It's from Princess Ruto. Let's see. She's inside Lord Jabu Jabu? That's not possible. Our guardian god, Lord Jabu Jabu, would never eat my dear Princess Ruto. that since that stranger, Ganondorf, came here, Lord Jabu Jabu has been a little green around the gills. The evidence seems clear. Of course, you'll go find Ruto. You can pass through here to the altar of Lord Jabu Jabu. I'll keep this letter. You keep the bottle it was in. Take it respectfully. Please find my dear Princess Ruto immediately. Zora. We get the best cutscene in Ocarina of Time. Something that the remake cannot touch. If it does, it's not Ocarina of Time. King Zora moves out the way, taking his sweet time to do so. Also, perhaps an unintended strange or bad or unhygienic, definitely, consequence of where the throne room is. That if this is indeed the source of all Hyrule's water, which we're told it is, it all flows underneath King Zora's balls. So that's a thought when you're next in Castletown having a refreshing glass of tap water, you know where it's been. Okay, we can head back here into the Zora's Fountain where Lord Jabu Jabu lies. And there he is, Lord Jabu Jabu himself. So we learn from King Zora there that Ganondorf himself visited Lord Jabu Jabu, and ever since he's apparently been green around the gills, which sounds like a very similar situation to what happened with the Great Deku Tree, where Ganondorf put a curse on him. What does the sign say? Zora's Fountain, don't disturb Lord Jabu Jabu. King Zora the 16th. There you go, you get a little bit more lore on King Zora. Apparently this is the 16th King Zora, which is cool. Here's Jabu Jabu himself. So, he doesn't interact with us, he doesn't do anything. We can't do anything to him. But if you remember, there was a Zora that we spoke to in the domain who said that Princess Ruto was responsible for Lord Jabu Jabu's meals, morning and night. So, now we've got a fish in a bottle. If we empty it here, just in front of the patron deity of the Zora, he opens his mouth and begins inhaling. And the fish goes in, and following it, like Jonah, we're swallowed by the whale. Inside Jabu Jabu's belly. So there's a bit of a theme with Child Link's dungeons, in case you hadn't clocked onto it by now. It's all about going inside giant mythical creatures. Obviously the first dungeon, inside the Deku Tree, where we delve into the Great Deku Tree to rid it of the curse that Ganondorf placed upon it. The second dungeon, a little bit less clear, but Dodongo's Cavern, like we pointed out, is inside the ruins, inside the skeleton of a giant Dodongo. We see the rib cage is kind of used as supports for the roof. And then the third dungeon is perhaps the most explicit example of that. We're inside the Zora patron deity, Jabu Jabu. And this is, one of the most disgusting Zelda dungeons in the series, and this is a place I'm a little bit trepidatious, I guess, for how they're going to do this in the remake, in the kind of sort of more realistic graphics. There's the teeth, since we're inside his mouth. I just shot what I assume is the uvula to open the throat with the slingshot there, which lets us be swallowed by that into this room. And there's a ton of these guys who I don't think I've navied yet. These are Biri. If you touch it, you'll be electrocuted. So a little bit like how we had mini Gomas or baby Gomas, Goma spawn in the Great Deku Tree, which are kind of smaller versions of the boss of that dungeon. Biri are the smaller versions of the boss of inside Jabu Jabu's belly. So they're kind of the offspring, or minions, I guess, of the curse that Ganondorf has placed upon it. But in here, we'll find the missing princess. You! Who are you? I am Ruto, princess of the Zoras. What? Are you saying my father asked you to come here to save me? I'd never ask anyone to do such a thing. Letter in a bottle? I have no idea what you're talking about. My father is worried about me. I don't care. Anyway, I can't go home right now, and you get out of here. Understand? And off she struts. Directly into a fleshy hole. Yeah, so Princess Ruto's dialogue there is kind of another thing that people bring up as evidence for why people think she didn't write that letter in a bottle. Because, yeah, well, I mean, she tells us straight up that she didn't. But like I said, the Japanese, the way that's written in Japanese makes it very clear that we are meant to believe that she did write it. She's just, I guess, too proud to admit that she had to ask for help. Are you still hanging around here? I told you to go away. I'm okay. I've been going inside Lord Jabu Jabu's belly since I was little, but Lord Jabu Jabu is very strange today. There are electrified jellyfish and strange holes around. On top of that, my precious stone was... But that's none of your business. Anyway, you, go home now. Understand? You're that worried about me? Then I'll give you the honour of carrying me. However, I won't leave until I find the thing I'm looking for. You'd better believe me. And she sits and lets us carry. Interestingly, you see on the sides of her head, let's get a better look. There, what's in the middle of the screen right now? I always assumed they were like, you know, more gills or something, considering she's a fish person. But no, her concept art makes it very clear that those are extra eyes. For whatever reason, Princess Ruto has 4 eyes. There's an interview with the character artist for the game where he talks about that. Just a strange little detail. I'm not sure why they gave her extra eyes, but they did. But yeah, you can also use Princess Ruto as a weapon, which is quite nice. Nice to chuck her at these bubble things. But yeah, like I've been doing, Deku Nuts are really, really useful. To be fair, throughout this whole dungeon, Deku Nuts are very, very useful. But yeah, we can assume that that Princess Ruto left that letter in a bottle inside Jabu Jabu, and it's worked its way out through the system until it found us a Lake Hylia. Which is, yeah, pretty grim, but, you know, needs must. She's got us here now, so... It's interesting as well that she says she's used to visit, or has been visiting Lord Jabu Jabu's belly for a long time. So, I don't know. Pretty strange that she's been coming in here, because obviously it's extra grim in here, as she says now. Lord Jabu Jabu is a bit strange. But even if it wasn't full of jellyfish and whatever, I still don't think this is a particularly pleasant place to be. Each to their own. Yeah, another gold sculpture here. I think we need to press this to raise the water levels to grab that. Yeah, just because of this, whatever this is that we're meant to be climbing here is slightly too high. 29 tokens. Nice. And up here there's a couple of pots, just with some, so that's seeds. A fairy, okay, and more seeds, although... Oh, we do actually have 2 empty bottles. If it comes back... I'll put it in here, but it... Oh, it did come back, okay. Nice, alright. Always nice to have that reassurance. This tiny fairy is a reliable partner who'll, yeah, revive us. Because I can't quite remember exactly how many hearts. Different Zelda games have different amounts of hearts that fairies will heal you when they resurrect. But I'm pretty sure in Ocarina of Time, is it a full... I think it might be a full resurrection, which is really, really good. So yeah, very, very nice to have one just in case. Let's pick Ruto up and head through more of these tunnels. We've got another one of these uvula sort of things. I'm just going to deck at that. Grab our fairy slingshot. Oh, pop that. I think in a second there is a place we can get more Deku Nuts, yeah, because they're, like I said, they are pretty useful throughout the game, but they're especially useful in this dungeon. There's a load of enemies, and I think even the boss, or little minions of the boss, is vulnerable to them. Okay, that was close. I almost thought you were going to bounce back. Okay, Navi really wants us. What? Octorok. Okay, yeah, well that's that, but what? Okay, now she's gone. Yeah, I think if we swim through this little underwater tunnel... we'll be able to replenish our Deku Nuts supply, which is really useful. Okay, we can swim quite deep now. And up. Yeah, and we got this guy. I'm just going to wait. I was about to say, I'll just wait for him to spit so I don't get hit. And then he did it as I was kind of doing an automatic climbing animation. But yeah, I think this is Deku Nuts. Yeah, 5 pieces, 20 rupees. Bargain. And off he goes. and some hearts. Nice. So he gives us back what he stole from us. So we swim back through here. It's not a particularly long dungeon, this, and it's not too confusing in the layout or anything like that. That said, it's not one that I particularly love. I never really look forward to this part of the game when I'm coming back to it. I much prefer the Deku Tree and Dodongo's Cavern as Child Link dungeons, and of course the adult half of the game is just, you know, phenomenal in terms of the dungeons there. So for me, for my money, this is definitely the weakest dungeon in the game, and I don't know how much of that is just like my just general disgust at the dungeon itself. You know, maybe if it was just a different theme, I'd feel more positive about it, but I don't know. I couldn't remember which way to go there, so I froze up. But I think we throw Princess Ruto across that gap. No, we don't. Actually, no, we go up. Then we need to go to the tentacle room. See, there you go. I was talking too much about how I was disgusted and not too confused in this dungeon, and then immediately forgot where to go. But we meant to go back, of course, to the room where she fell, and later on we get there when something drops down from above to allow us to get over there. So we don't do that, and I'm glad I didn't just throw Princess Ruto and not think about it. Yeah, but we get back to this room with the holes and these berries, and the thing that's most worth noting is over here there's one hole that we can't get to. Ooh, what's this one called? It's a big one. Barry. Okay, Beery and Barry. But again, you can just Deku Nut them. Yeah, okay. Deku Nuts just kind of... Oh, and it turns into little ones. I'm not sure if I knew that. And then Beeries are the small ones. I'm not going to ignore them because they're not going to do me any favours fighting them. But yeah, here we are in, I guess, the intestines or something. And we've got some more enemies here. These are Tail Passarans, which is tails are its weak points. So tails obviously from tail. I'm not sure what the word Passaran comes from. Maybe I'll look that up. Can we Deku Nut these as well? We can. Deku Nuts just stay winning. Okay. But they're still invincible. Okay. I think maybe these are immune to everything but the boomerang? We'll leave them for now. But either way, good to... And we got electrocuted. Good to see that we can Deku Nut them for later, but we'll just run past them for now. Another one here. Maybe, actually, the old Ruto method might work. Unless I overthrow it like that. Let's try again. Ruto actually is pretty good as a weapon. Let's try it. Okay. You won't see me playing rugby or anything anytime soon. Get Ruto again. I think if she takes too much damage, she'll disappear. Let's go for one more. If I miss, I'm just going to cut my losses. No, you can't. There you go. See? You've got to have faith in Ruto. I knew she could do it. But either way, we head all the way down here. Well, there's a switch that we need to set her down on. This switch, it doesn't look like you can press it down with your weight alone leg. So yeah, we need Ruto. And do we take her through this one? I think we might do. There's one where we definitely leave her outside. But either way, in here, we've got some more of these guys. I don't think I read these guys' names. Stinger. Destroy it before it flies into you. I always thought for some reason these were called Georgs or Georgs, which is like a recurring fish-like Zelda enemy, which you get in games like in Wind Waker. They're kind of sharks in the Great Sea. In the Minish Cap, they're manta rays, that you fight in the Palace of Winds. But yeah, these are apparently just called stingers. But yeah, not too difficult, although it did take a couple of hearts of damage. But if we clear it out... There we go, I was waiting for it to spawn. We get a chest. Which is one of the most useful items, because it'll unlock not only so much in this dungeon, but in the overworld itself, the boomerang. So all of those Skulltulas that have just been out of reach will be able to get with the boomerang now, which is so useful. Yeah, just thought I'd look around. Vial. Oh, yeah, grab these, and we'll pick up Ruto and head through. So now we're back in the room with the tail Parazans, and I think, unless I'm completely mistaken, we can boomerang them. Okay, maybe we need to wait for them to come out. So maybe I Deku Nutted too early. So now can we boomerang? No, that's still... I guess Ruto is the only way to do it. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. Bullseye. And you see we're moving in this tunnel. So it's not just an optical illusion because of the textures on the walls. We are actually moving through these, which makes me think this is the intestine of Lord Jabu Jabu. So this is where the bottle, with the message in the bottle, would have been working its way through here before it got excreted and went all the way down Zora's River. It'll have flowed through the Hyrule Castletown moat and everything, all before ending up at Lake Hylia. Here we have a parasitic tentacle, question mark. It seems that the narrow part is its weak point. You need a particular item to destroy it. Not the Deku Nut. There we go. We can boomerang these guys. But yeah, these are parasitic tentacles, so these are part of the infection, part of the corruption that has been besieging Lord Jabu Jabu ever since Ganondorf visited him. And 1 or 2 more hits with the boomerang, and we should be good. There we go. And killing that not only spawns a chest, but in previous rooms where there were more of the red tentacle, they will have now despawned. So we need to now work our way through the intestines, much like the bottle, and take out the different coloured tentacles, which are presumably attached to wherever the main body of this parasite is, which will allow more of the dungeon to open up. You got anything to say? No? Yep. How inconsiderate! How could you leave me behind? If you're a man, act like one. Take responsibility. Okay, right. But yeah, now we can actually head through here, which previously we couldn't. The red slimy thing is gone. That must be because you cut the red tail. Will that work with the other ones too? So in here we've got a load of the bubbles, and we've got 40 seconds to do it with. But with our Deku Nuts, we should be good, even with a 40-second time limit. Although I'm... There we go. I'm conscious that I've just used 3 of my beloved Deku Nuts. I'm not sure if the... I'm sure the Deku Business Scrub would respawn. But either way, we'll be alright. These are just seeds, aren't they? They're not Deku Nuts, yeah. They have a different icon. But yeah, let's grab another item. So we got the dungeon map just then, and this isn't one of those dungeons that messes around and splits the compass and the dungeon map across big sections of the dungeon. This just gives you both straight away. So now we can see on the map, wherever it is, all the different floors and whatever. So you can see it's not very long. We've already completed or explored most of it. But if you see on this one floor here, the very bottom section, that's the mouth room that we first entered. And then all the way at the top, so lower down in Lord Jabu Jabu's body is where we are now. So it does make sense that these are the intestines of, you know... yeah, being inside the intestines of a dying god is a very... Yeah, I don't know. It's a very, very cool idea, like, definitely, but still quite revolting. I think I'd much prefer to be inside the dying husk of a tree god rather than this one. I'm actually just going to get Navi to tell me about that one again. Another parasitic tentacle with a question mark. Yeah, so we need to get a little bit closer for it to come down, and then you can boomerang. These aren't too good. Was it 4 or 5 boomerangs? It might have been 4. There we go. That's the blue one down. Letting us out. There's no chest in here though, but that's all good. Got everything we need. And we head... I think it was at the right? Yeah. That's the tail parazans. I will look up what they mean, what tail parazan means. It's probably one of those things that, you know, like Lord Jabu Jabu comes from Jabu Jabu being an onomatopoeia in Japanese for splashing water, which is cool. So, you know, he's literally called Lord Splashy Splashy, although that doesn't sound as mystical in English, so, you know, I get that they didn't translate it. Coming down, let me target you. You gonna swing for me? Oh, boomerang. And I believe there are 4 Skulltulas that we can get throughout this dungeon, whereas I mentioned in Dodongo's Cavern there are 3, which we got. But yeah, there are others that you need to return to. But in Lord Jabu Jabu, luckily, thankfully, we don't have to return here. We can get all of the Skulltulas on our first pass through the dungeon, and that wasn't a pun to do with things passing through the intestines. But yeah, now we're back in this room. You need to try and remember which one was blocked by the tentacle, and it was this one, which allows us to drop to here, which don't... Okay, that was very close, I didn't mean to throw her. Which was previously inaccessible. But now... Okay. I can do that if I want, or I can do what I was trying to do, and grab the Skulltulas. And then this Skulltula, even this one, I think would be too high without a jump attack, but... we can boomerang them, which is very nice to be able to do. So there's tons of ones, you know, like the one in Gerudo Valley, a little bit down Zora's River, that we could see before. You know, we could even kill it with a slingshot, but we weren't able to do that. So this unlocks so much for us. But now we've done that anyway. See a little bit more in this room. I'm not sure what part of the dying god this is meant to be, but we can head through here anyway. That's it! That's what I've been looking for! Throw me up there, onto the platform. Okay. And she's got the third spiritual stone. Princess Ruto got the spiritual stone. But why Princess Ruto? So that's the Zora's Sapphire. Oh my goodness! I finally found my mother's stone. I got very upset when Lord Jabu Jabu swallowed it. While I was feeding him, he suddenly swallowed me. I was so surprised I dropped it inside. But now that I've found it, I don't need to be in here anymore. So take me home, right now. Okay? We'll do that. But we can't. She's taken upstairs by something. What is this? An octopus? An octopus indeed. This is the mini-boss of Lord Jabu Jabu's belly, Big Octo, a giant Octorok. Let's just get Navi to talk to us about it. What does she say? Big Octo, apparently one word. Attack it from behind. Yeah, so we need to get to Big Octo's behind, which we can do a couple of ways. Often easiest, I find, is just to let it hit you, and then you can kind of stun it a couple of ways. Oh, it's turned around now. Okay, yeah, come back, yeah. If you just let it hit you, often that's the easiest way to get it to turn around. And then we can turn on our Deku Sticks and jump attack. And that should just kill him. There you go. Because Deku Sticks do twice the damage of the Kokiri Sword, you can just jump attack with a Deku Stick to one-hit him. So he's not a particularly difficult boss, but yeah, pretty cool design. Makes sense that he's here, considering the little Octoroks around here. What's in these pots? Ah, finally, more Deku Sticks, and wasted the fairy, but it's not the end of the world. More Deku Nuts. Sorry, there you go. Deku Nuts, the best item. I'm very glad we got more. Now we can be as liberal as we want with chucking these around. Alright, I'm not going to throw it. Let's not be too wasteful, alright? You can be too liberal with your Deku Nuts, and they're important. But these guys, I don't think we can Deku Nut these, although it would make sense. No. These guys are big jelly things, big cubes of jelly, I don't know. And by boomeranging them, you can stun them and turn them blue. And not get knocked off by the Octorok that I was trying to ignore to hop across. So not too difficult. But yeah, we don't know where Princess Ruto has gone at this point. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where I mistakenly tried to go a different way. We drop down here, and it connects us back here to the opening room. The mouth room would be through there. And over here is a switch that we need Princess Ruto for. We need someone to weigh it down for us. Or these crates. And I don't think they have anything on them. I could be very wrong about this, so let me know if you're currently replaying the 3DS version and you remember whether these have Lon Lon Milk icons on them in the 3DS version. I'm not too sure. But either way, as with most of the stuff in here that isn't like organic, we can assume it's just stuff that was swallowed by Lord Jabu Jabu. Yeah, this is a cool final room. There's even some spider webs in here. Which I think we know who might have made them, things we're hunting for. But let's just get rid of these guys before we start properly exploring. There's another... Did I miss that? Yeah. Well, I didn't even target, that's why I missed that. There is another gold Skulltula in this room, which we want to grab. If we hear it scuttling around. If you don't know where they are, you can just kind of listen for that. Horrible sound. Yeah, if you're an arachnophobe, it's not one of the best games for you, considering the main collectible is these spiders. Yeah, that's it there. Almost crawled right into it. Okay. The problem is if I miss input, which I do a lot. Okay, that wasn't a miss input, that was just a miss. With the boomerang, and I did the same. I never learned. It takes forever to come back to you. Yeah, you got to do 2 hits. I feel like the boomerang should kill these guys in 1. I don't know why. Just feels like it should be stronger than the fairy slingshot. But with that done, that's our 4th Skulltula in here. So like I said a little while ago, we are done with Jabu Jabu's belly now once we beat the boss, which is really nice. This is a cool example of the boomerang. So we couldn't slingshot this because we can't get around that. But boomerangs travel differently. Well, you can miss if you do it like me. But if we line it up properly, there you go. We can hit another one of these uvula switches things, disgusting things. And we can finally make our way to the boss of Lord Jabu Jabu's belly. So we've gone the wrong way. We've seen parasitic tentacles. We've seen the Biri and the Barry. We've had little teases of what this parasite really is that's infested the body of this god. This TARDIS-like gigantic body of this fish god. But now, let's see what it looks like. Bioelectric Anemone Baronade. Really interesting design for a boss. Yeah, it's this it kind of plays on the idea that in the sea or just elsewhere, especially the sea, there are a lot of bioelectric creatures. Electric eels, and perhaps there's anemones that are the same. I should navi first. Baronade. Many parasitic jellyfish swarm around this monster. Aim for its body. Protected by jellyfish. Yeah, and then this is playing on that idea that it's a bioelectric creature. But the Japanese name, I don't like this bit, it's like a merry-go-round. The Japanese name is a little bit clearer on what this thing actually is, which I think is called like electric intestinal worm or something, which makes it much, much clearer what's actually going on here, what has actually infested Lord Jabu Jabu. And again, explains why there's why you see, I should decken up these guys, why there are the tentacles in the intestines. If this is indeed an intestinal worm, then, it just makes sense, doesn't it? That it's writhing its way through this god's intestines. But yeah, it's interesting boss. It's definitely the most difficult Child Link boss. Because the only other Child Link bosses are Goma, the first one, and you saw King Dodongo, which is incredibly easy. This one, there's a little bit more to it. There's a lot going on. Should be done with a couple more jump attacks. No. Getting hit by these kind of satellite dish sort of things on here. Just got to try and avoid these. Do the classic Zelda boss thing. If you don't really know what to do, run around in circles until it becomes obvious. Or do what I do and just run straight into the boss. That's pretty cool as well. Come on, need the boomerang. There we go. Is that it? There we go. And he kind of spawns all these like tumor-like growths over him before exploding. But yeah, just like Goma, the Baronade was infesting Lord Jabu Jabu because of Ganondorf, because he tried to extort the spiritual stone. Wow, I just stepped straight on top of that. But a full heart container there, very nice. Again, you can kind of see the remains of the boss in here. There's a little bit less clear because it completely exploded, but there's like green goo and whatever this kind of matter is, which is cool. Yeah, another thing about its Japanese name is it's Baronade. Or I guess it even works in English, to be fair. Barry, which we saw were the small jellyfish creatures, and Nade from tornado. So it's literally a tornado of these jellyfish, which is pretty cool. Anyway, now we can talk to Princess Ruto, who's got a particular face on at the moment. You're late. What took you so long? You're useless. I was just lonely, that's all. Just a little. And we fade away into the blue light again. Our third dungeon completed, the final Child Link dungeon. Which, yeah, this game just flies by every time I play it. Because it's quite big for a Nintendo 64 game. But it just flies by. And Link falls into the water. You looked cool. Cooler than I thought you would, anyway. Just a little. Well, anyway, you saved me, so I guess I'll reward you. What do you wish? Just tell me. I want that spiritual stone or nothing really. What about nothing really? Hee hee hee, don't be shy. I can tell what you're thinking. My mother gave it to me and said I should give it only to the man who will be my husband. You might call it the Zora's engagement ring. All right, I'll give you my most precious possession, Zora's sapphire. So yeah, interesting that they kind of went down this road again in Breath of the Wild with Mipha's infatuation for Link. Kind of another example of unrequited love, just like Ruto here in this game. And in that game, the Zora's tunic is made specifically for Link by Ruto as kind of an engagement present. And in this, the Zora's sapphire, passed down through the Zora line by Ruto's mother, is also used as an engagement present. You obtained Zora's sapphire. This is the spiritual stone of water passed down by the Zoras. Her most precious possession. You don't know what she's talking about, but you've finally collected all 3 spiritual stones. Go back to see Princess Zelda. Don't tell my father. So yeah, she thinks King Zora might be unapproving or disapproving, I guess, of Link as her man. But I don't know. I think she can do a lot worse than Link. We've just saved her from Lord Jabu Jabu. We're a bit of a hero. We're all good. There's a couple of things we can do here. One of which is this. Grab a sculpture. Obviously, we could have got this before Jabu Jabu. But, you know, might as well do it here while we do a roundup around here. A couple more things here that we can't actually do anything with. I mean, we could. Actually, there's this that we can't do anything with, but we can do this if we plonk a bomb down here. See, the silver rock, apparently, is made of something very tough, so that doesn't blow up. But the entire cliff face does, opening up Great Fairy's Fountain, just like the one on top of Death Mountain. So this is one of her sisters, or friends, I'm not sure what she said. Not the one she was talking about, which is by Hyrule Castle, which we'll go and see very soon. This is a different Great Fairy. They all have the same design in Ocarina of Time, though. They've all got the same pinkish red hair. And I do wish they did something similar to Majora's Mask, which gives them different Great Fairies, different appearances. I think it just kind of, you know, goes a long way to differentiate them. Welcome, Link. I am the Great Fairy of Magic. I will give you a magic spell. Please take it. Doesn't get any less horrifying. And here we go. A magic spell. And we get Farore's Wind. This is warp magic you can use with C. Warp when you're in danger. You'll teleport to the warp point. When you first use the magic, you'll create a warp point. When you use the magic again, you can either dispel the warp point you created last time or warp to that point. So yeah, it's useful in dungeons, where you can use it only in dungeons that have a dungeon map hidden inside, okay? Yeah, useful in dungeons. Basically, we drop it, and it's kind of a pin that we can warp back to, which, especially for some of the adult Link dungeons, which are much bigger, more sprawling than the Child Link dungeons, pretty useful to come back to. But there's one more sculpture that we can grab here, although I do need to make it night for that one, because this one's on a wall. I'm trying to think. I don't think I'm missing any others, because there's another one that we need to come back to far later on. You see there again, we entered Zora's Domain. We spawn in Zora's Domain from the point where we entered it after playing the Sun Song, just like I showed off in Kakariko Village last episode. Because in areas where time flows, so Zora's River, Hyrule Field, Gerudo Valley, places like that. If you play the Sun Song, you'll just immediately it'll happen, and you'll remain in the same spot. So yeah, there's no like reticle for the boomerang either. Yes, I'm gonna Switch to, you know, the classics. If it ain't broke. This also doesn't have a reticle, but this is just far easier to aim, I find. Yeah, you can just change time and remain in the same spot. I'm just flubbing all episode. But oh well, we got our gold sculpture, we got our 34th. And that's it for Zora's Fountain for now. Although, of course, we will come back. We've got our 3rd spiritual stone from here. So it's, yeah, always been a little bit ambiguous what Lord Jabu Jabu is and what he does. He's this giant fish with kind of a crown on, again with the Zora's sapphire symbol on his forehead there. But considering he sits in the fountain, this is the source of all Hyrule's water. Like, this is the capital T, capital S, the source. It all flows from here. You can see, obviously, it will somewhat flow into Zora's domain, but most of it flows down here off this big waterfall. Originally, actually, an earlier build to the game, we'd have been able to go through here and jump off Zora's Fall and land in Zora's River, but no longer in the final version. There's still exits, unused exits, that could show that off happening, but yeah, not in the final build. But yeah, I guess he, you know, protects it, or he purifies it, kind of looks over it in the same way the Great Deku Tree watches over the forest. But yeah, I think that about does it for episode 5. No, we're on 6 now. It's flying by. Episode 6 of my playthrough of Ocarina of Time. If you enjoyed this, as always, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode, where we take our 3 spiritual stones to Princess Zelda. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you next time.